Well, g'day and welcome to another episode of Kiwi Car Life, and today on this truly terrible Wellington day we shall be installing some lovely PLM headers on early Accord. Now, installing these on jack stands turned out to be a right faff, and I didn't end up getting much useful footage, but I'll still do my best to explain how to install them. Start by undoing both O2 sensors.
Can someone get me a hammer?
And then remove the 3 bolts at the back of the catalytic converter, the 2 bolts that connect the downpipe to the headers, and both bolts on the bracket that hold the downpipe to the block. With the downpipe and catalytic converter removed, you can undo all 5 bolts that hold the headers to the block.
The beating stick solves many problems.
And take everything out. To install the new headers, pull the slip joint apart and install the upper part first. Remember to install the new included gasket.
Well, it looks like something the Queen would use. And the Queen installs headers on her K24.
And then loosely do up all 5 bolts to hold it in place for the meantime. Then slide the lower part of the slip joint on and belt it with a hammer to get it on really tight. Do up the bolts that hold the slip joint together, and finally install the connecting piece to link it up with the rest of the exhaust. Torque the head bolts and install both O2 sensors and you're good to go. Alright, here we go. So now that the headers are installed, as you would have heard before, there are definitely some noticeable differences. And the first one is that it's definitely a little louder and it's a little more raspy as well. However, what's nice about it is that it's kind of a good rasp in a way. If you slap a fire can on the back of the B16, you're just getting a recipe for 1,000 angry, terrible sounding hornets coming out of your exhaust. Whereas this, on the other hand, because it's a much larger displacement engine, generally I think has a much more sophisticated sound. The second thing that I noticed was that it generally feels a little more free and quick to rev when you get going, and for changing gears and stuff as well, it's a lot easier. The revs tend to just sort of come down a little quicker than they used to. But the best part is now VTEC is finally audible. Take a listen. This thing is very, very fast. How fast, you may ask? Well, let's do a 0 to 100 test. My goodness me. 6.6. And yep, you heard that right, 6.6 seconds. That astounded me just as much as it probably astounds you. The other awesome thing is that, in compared with some other cars, this thing is noticeably quicker now too. You may remember a couple of months ago I did a comparison between this and a Subaru Legacy 3-litre-R, which you can see me doing by clicking up here. And as part of that video I did a little cheeky rolling race, and the Legacy absolutely destroyed me. Whereas now that I've got the headers installed, things are a little bit different. Go. other car that I discovered kind of by accident that I was able to keep up with was a Mark 6 Golf GTI, and that had a DSG, so this should go. So there we go. I am extremely happy with the headers. This thing moves now, there is no denying that. Now I just want to finish off this video because I know there are some frequently asked questions about these particular PLM headers for the CL9 Accord, and the first one is, will you get a check engine light? And well, I haven't. Now I do have a tune that in theory disables the second O2 sensor, so I don't know if you don't have a tune whether you will get a check engine light, but certainly for me I haven't, and I've had this on air for 2 or 3 weeks now and I still haven't got a check engine light. The second one is, does it leak? And to that the answer is yes. However, I think it's getting better as carbon buildup starts to sort of form around the slip joints. It's starting to sort of seal up a bit, and I'm noticing it less and less. The third thing isn't really a frequently asked question, but I'll just throw it in there too. You're going to have to be prepared to clean your exhaust tips a lot now, because with no cat, this thing is stinky. There we go. I'll finish you out with one final delicious tunnel pull. Giddy arts, this thing is outrageously loud. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Kiwi Car Life. If you want to see me installing the Yonaka Catback exhaust on this thing, then click over here. And if you want to see me comparing it with an Accord Euro R, the K20 brother of this car, then click over here. And I'll look forward to seeing you again next time.